Hey there. Well, I've got a vintage Victorinox Fisherman for sale. I'll be putting that up on my Etsy shop in a little while. So if you don't have one of those in your collection yet, stick around and I'll show you the knife. Before I start pulling the knife open to show it to you, let me just say a couple things about it. I date this knife from the 1960s because of the bail. Victorinox officially switched from the bail to the keyring in 1968. With a little longer transition period there. But because of the age of the knife, every single tool practically on the knife has some kind of interesting vintage feature, and I'll try to point those out as we go through it. Also, this being a 50-year-old knife, it's not perfect. Expect to see the small scratches, dings, and scuffs that you would expect from a knife that age. So let's start with the opening layer. Here's the can opener small screwdriver, and it does have the marking for Swiss patent there on the tang. Next, the screwdriver cap lifter. It has the sharpened cap lifter curve there for stripping wires and cables. No 90-degree stop. This being a Fisherman, it has the fish scaler hook disgorger. And what's vintage about this is that back in the day they magnetized the tips. So how cool is that? Next are scissors. These are vintage scissors with the screw pivot and the single leaf spring, and they work perfectly fine. And then the blades, let's take a look at the small blade first. It's a clip point blade. Now I have polished and sharpened these blades. Let's see if we can get a look at the edge here. And then the main blade, and it reads Victoria Officier Swiss on one side of the tang and Victoria Switzerland Stainless Rost Fry on the other. And then the back tools, the Fisherman had the Phillips, and so this is a square Phillips, and it also has a file. And aluminum liners. They're in really good shape. This knife is in very good condition. I've refurbished it, polished the blades and the scales. So here's the sharpened reamer. Still has a good edge on it and has no sewing eye. Really the only tools on this knife that aren't vintage or at least original would be the scale tools. If this were the original set of tweezers, this would have an aluminum tip. It does not. These are plastic tips tweezers, so they've obviously been replaced somewhere along the line. They fit in there just fine, work perfectly well. And I would bet the toothpick has been replaced as well, and it's a little bit of a snug fit in there. The bail is pretty symmetrical, well attached, moves freely. Here's a look at the top of the knife so you can see everything fits in there. Everything's straight. Let's take a look at the scales. There's a little little ding right here on the inside edge up against the scale. Of course, it looks huge in the camera, but it's really not. So let me pause for a minute and I'll open it all up and show you what it looks like inside. Okay, so I opened it all up so I can just show you inside of it. Okay, well that's a very thorough look at a vintage Victorinox Fisherman from the 1960s. That'll be for sale in my Etsy shop, so you might want to go take a look at that. I'm also going to be putting up some other interesting Victorinox knives soon. But while you're at my shop, also take a look at that Forster wood I have up there. It's the last one. I'm just trying to get rid of it, and I'm practically giving it away. All right, well, thank you for watching.